I'd like to give you 4 tutorials on how to edit videos, ordered from easy, medium, hard, and impossible. And don't worry, all these tutorials were made with 100% free software, so anyone can try. Alright, let's get into the tutorials. This first edit is really easy. You can do it from your phone anywhere. It is done with iMovie, which is only available on Apple devices. If you don't have one, you can skip this tutorial. So when you open the iMovie app, press Movie, and then select the footage you filmed, and then press Create Movie. This footage is of me snapping over a plain background, and then adding an object, and then snapping again. Then I wipe my hand over the object, remove it, and wipe my hand over it again. Alright, let's do some editing. Go to the first snap. Right in the middle of the snap, click on the footage and then press split. Then crop the right side of the footage to right where you do the second snap. Let's take a look at that. That looks great. I used a little bit of camera shake in the footage right where the cut is, and that really cleans it up. Now I go to the part where my hand is just covering the toy. Then I press split again, and I go right in the middle of the second wipe. Let's take a look at the whole thing. That looks great. This is a really cool effect. It's really versatile, you can do it anywhere, and it's still very impressive. Now let's do something a little bit harder. This next tutorial will be done with DaVinci Resolve. Download link is in the description. So, step 1 is to import your video. You should have a video where someone tries a couple times to do the invisible box challenge where they just step over air, and then you add a real box into the shot. It doesn't have to be green, I just, like it green. And you have them step on it. So here's what you gotta do. You create a cut right in between where they left the shot and where they enter the shot to step on the real box. Then take out the middle so it looks like the box just spontaneously appears. Then you click this button here to go to this workspace, and you start making a mask by clicking the mask button. You should also feather it a little bit. After that, get an image of the plain background and put it under the main footage. Once you've finished that, animate the mask by right-clicking here and then pressing Set Key. And then just go ahead 1 frame each time and change it so that you can only see the foot but not the box. And each time you change the mask, press Set Key. It looks alright. I just added some color adjustments so that it wouldn't look like the colors change for the cut. And I also made it fade between the 2 shots. Then I added some fake camera shake just to make it look real. That looks great! Let's move on to something harder. This next tutorial will be done with DaVinci Resolve, Avitamux, and VLC Media Player. Links to all of these are in the description. Alright, let's start with some footage. Basically, any footage will do, just 2 videos that sort of merge into each other, kinda like this. And the second shot should be nice and slow moving. That really adds to the effect. Basically just put them both together, and then press this Deliver tab to export it. Change the format to MP4, and add to render queue, and then press Render. Now that that's done, we can turn off DaVinci Resolve and open Avitamux. Only the 2.5 version works for this. If you're using a later version, you might not be able to follow along. Drag your MP4 file into the editor, press No when this comes up, and if anything else comes up, just press No. Now go over to this tab and click on this option. Then go over to Configure, Frame, and turn this value up to all 9s, as high as it'll go. Press OK. Next, File, Save Video, and export it as something like 1.avi. Let it render out, and then go to File, Close, or do Ctrl W to close the footage. Then drag in the video you just exported. Go to this menu again, and then set it to copy. Use the up and down arrow keys. It should go to the place where your video cuts. Then use the left arrow key to move back 1 frame, press the left bracket key, go right 2 frames, and then press the close bracket key. This will select just the cut. Then go to Edit, Delete. Great! Now go back to File, Save, and save it as something like 2.avi. Perfect! Right-click on the video you just exported, go to Open With, and go to VLC Media Player. You should be able to see the data mosh. Perfect! Press this little square button to stop it, and then go to Media, Convert Save, and drag in the video that you just played. Press Convert Save, click Browse, and name it whatever you like. Press Save, and then Start, and this little blue bar will show when you're done rendering. And there's your video! I love this effect, it can be used in so many ways. This next edit is so hard that being able to do it well would be able to get you a good job, so, good luck following along. It's actually used a lot in Marvel movies and movies with a lot of visual effects. It can be done with a software called Blender. So first, open up Blender, click this little plus, go to VFX, and then Motion Tracking. Open up your footage, which should be just a moving shot filmed with a fast shutter speed. If you don't have a camera where you can change your shutter speed, just use your phone, but make sure you're moving really slowly. It should also be a relatively complex shot with a bunch of objects in the scene. So now that it's in Blender, press Set Scene Frames, and then press Prefetch. To get started, press Detect Features. A bunch of little dots should show up on your screen. Then click this little drop-down menu, change the threshold to 0.01 and the distance to 80. Then just press this button, then they'll track and figure out how they're supposed to be moving. After that, go to the end of your shot, press the button again, and then track backwards with this button. You'll notice a lot of these guys are going to be going crazy. Let them have their fun. Great, we have data. Let's look for a few trackers that aren't doing what they're supposed to. Look at all these. They're not moving with the camera. Click on them and press X to delete them. If you have a tracker that's tracking a moving object, that won't work either. Delete it. Well, that works, but it's a little bit time-consuming. Let's make the computer do it for us. Go to the Solve tab and then press this Filter Tracks button. Turn up the threshold until only the most extreme little guys are left. Then press X to delete them. Now find two frames that are from very different angles, but they still share a lot of trackers. Type the two keyframes into here. This will just help with the solve. Then check this focal length button, and then press Solve Camera Motion. Sometimes it doesn't work, so just click Filter Tracks again. You should be able to get it after a little while. If not, you might just have to do a different clip. Wow, that's a really low error. If it's less than 1, that means it's really good. Click this Clean Tracks button, and set the reprojection error to something like 1 to 1.5. If it doesn't select too many tracks, just delete them. This will select the tracks that have the biggest error. So hold the camera motion again. That's great! Press Setup Tracking Scene to finalize your track. Now you'll notice when we look at this footage, it doesn't look tracked. That cube is moving in a way that it's not really supposed to. So how do we fix this? First, select a tracker that's sort of in the middle of your scene and press Set Origin. Then select 3 other trackers that define the floor plane and press Floor. Aw, that looks so good. You can now put any 3D object you want into your scene and it'll track perfectly. Go tell your mom, this looks great. Now since I'm such an overachiever, I want to put a Minecraft Steve into this footage. So I'm going to go load up my Steve model that I have. Download link is in the description. Look at that handsome guy. Let's go to the shading workspace by clicking this button here and drag in his textures. Press the word linear and change it to closest. Very good. Let's put him on the ground plane. Press G and then Z to move him up, S to make him smaller or bigger, GX to move him to the side, and GY to move him backward or forward. And then press RZ to rotate him. And scale the ground plane so it covers a lot of the ground. I'm going to add a light in the general location that the sun was in my real shot. I'm going to change this to cycles. And then press this button so I can see what it looks like. I'm going to select my sun again and then turn its power up to about 3. Now click Film and tick Transparent. Now press F12 to render it, so you can get a preview of how it looks. You might have to turn down your samples in this menu. 256 should be good. That doesn't look too bad. I'll just adjust the intensity of my light, maybe add another one without shadows. That looks great. Now I'm going to go into this menu to define a path where I should render to. Set the format to AVI JPEG, and then press Ctrl F12 to render. It's really amazing what you can do with free open source software these days. I just love it. If you got anything out of this tutorial, leave a like and comment which ones you were able to do. Thanks for watching, remember to subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye!